So the vote came in favor of a beaver analog dam. And the guys are admiring the new hammer that we built yesterday, wondering how it's going to work. They are quite impressed on how it's going to work. Wat sê julle manne? Lucky, dink jy hy gaan water vashou? Wat sê julle manne, gaan hy vashou of gaan hy nie? Sit, as jy geld opsit, wat sê jy? Dink jy die water gaan wen of die takke? Takke. Okay, so all of them believe it's going to work. So our plan here is to build them things a meter apart and go all the way across there. Let me show you quickly as well how I've sort of chose the location. So my initial thought was this: cut that tree off. It's old and dead. Let it fall across the much smaller channel here, and then catch the water here. What it would do is almost immediately, as the water within 20 meters, as the water entered my property, hit this obstacle and slow it down. However, there's a little wash in here, but other than that the banks are quite high, so I wouldn't have reached any channel breaches here. I wouldn't have been able to breach the banks of the river, and all of the water would just go into the soil just off my land, which is fine. I mean, I'm still feeding the underwater land and so on, but if we enter another 50 meters or so, maybe even less, we get a much wider channel and a much lower bank. So here the banks go a lot lower, and so if this comes very fast and we get enough build-up, we might be able to breach the banks here, and getting the banks out there and either build a swale out there or have sort of some floodplain out there. So this is going in much faster and easier than we planned. The guys are very impressed with how well this hammer works. So we've already got 1, 2, 3, 4 in, starting to place the thorns on the one side. So when we started, I had a whole discussion with the guys on what our plan is. Explained to them that this, basically what you see here, this is our mission. This is debris that washed up against the branch. So we want to get as many sticks touching the ground as possible. And so this is our progress now. We're about an hour into the build, I would say. We tried weaving the branches between the posts, but it's not that easy. So we ended up putting a couple of wires on it. The bottom one we weaved, the top ones we just turned around the post, pulled it from one tree to another. Let me see if I can get on the other side. So the first ones, okay, so this is now the side the water is coming from. First one we slapped into the soil, into the ground as hard as possible, to try and get as much contact as possible. Now, as time goes by, they will settle and they will touch. And if you look at those thorn edges, there's a lot of thorns touching the ground, catching that water. So we will have something similar here. So we are going to try and push them down as much as we can, but we will allow them to also settle by themselves. This is basically what it looks like an hour after we started. Now, one of the interesting discussions about in the comments about whether we should put in a beaver dam or whether we should place tires and make a leaky weir was people believing that the tires have a better chance against these high floods that we have. So they said we should place tires first, the tire dam first, and then after that we should put the branches, the beaver dam. And you know, I think that specific opinion is wrong, and I'll give you my opinion or my idea regarding it. If we look at the river, it's always the trees that falls, but grass bends with the river and then they come back. So I believe, and again I might be wrong, the beaver dam letting a lot of water through might actually be better as the first structure, as the initial structure. And then if you put the more solid tire weir that keeps a lot more water back, if you place that second, then it might have a better chance to survive. If you place the tires in ahead and it has to deal with all of that water in front and there's no bending, no giving, then that might break faster. But again, that's just my opinion. So while I walk back and show you our final progress for the day, I quickly want to take a moment just to thank a couple of people. Someone anonymous. Then I want to thank Tarn, T-A-R-N, and Marion, who also bought some coffees. And then Mr. Alvin Dude, D-U-D-E, Dude, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. They are the people that funded this project by buying me coffees this week, which I really appreciate it. So this is now entering as the water would enter, basically, as you can see. Unfortunately, we started a little bit too late in the day. The project isn't finished yet. I'll give you what we have so far. So our plan is to get to almost here. This is about 20 meters of branches, but it takes a bit longer. The fence, putting in the fence and the post and things actually took a lot shorter than we anticipated. Moving the thorn branches and collecting the thorn branches takes a lot longer than we anticipated. So going to the side here, this is the side view. Let's see if I can get through the thorns here and show you what it looks like from here. So this is what we currently have from the side, and so this will be a path that we built for the horses, then moving them out of the river and around. Two people mentioned that having horses in the river isn't such a great idea. I tend to agree. They loosen the soil and so on. So we will see whether we ever remove them or not, but for now we'll just take them around the obstacles. Okay, so this is the back side, you can basically say. I see the guys added another wire up and down, which is interesting. And then they added 3 wires, tied to a tree on that side, and then tied to a tree on this side. And this is the back, yeah. But keeping in mind that we'll add another 10 meters over there, hopefully. The good thing about not having finished today is that I can get all of your inputs on what we should change before we consider the project finished. So please leave a comment. We work for comments. We try to build this project as much as we can based on the comments, because there's people, how my father always said, there's people stronger, prettier and more intelligent than you always. So I count on you guys to be more intelligent than me. Give me advice on what we should do, how we should do it, and we do it and we save the planet. Have a wonderful day. We see you tomorrow.